Hey, this is Jonathan, and I guess, yeah, we're gonna pick up where we last left off. Going to be implementing the fast filler, and I'll also probably be refactoring this code and moving it somewhere else. I don't think it belongs in main, for obvious reasons. So, I guess before I get going here, I did a little bit more research. It turns out there is actually a way to do this nicely without having to do that extra map to do the dereference. There's a little bit of magic happening here. So this into iter, apparently if you use just iter, it'll always return the same result, or at least as far as I can tell. Into iter is a method from a trait called into iterator, I believe, and what it does is it different implementations exist for different, I guess, classes. I don't really know what to call this, structs, and essentially the different implementations specify what the iterator will look like. So when I'm using into iterator with this vector here, this owned vector, by the way, I have to own the vector, then I will just get, when I do the collect, I just get a vector of locations. I don't have to do any kind of like fancy mapping. If it was just iter, and I think I can probably actually even test this right now if I try running this. It's probably not gonna, yeah, if I just use iter, I get references. So that's to avoid any, I guess, magic happening here. So if you use iter, you'll always get an iterator over references. So yeah, that's fine. I'm going to use into iter because that seems a little bit nicer. And yeah, and I also realized that I can actually own this locations vector. Now there was a caveat to that, and in order to own this locations vector, in order to give ownership to this drop locations, what I needed to do was actually change my so originally I had this like this range, and I was doing like a dot for each, and it had like a closure with like a blank argument, which was basically this. So apparently doing that was causing an error where it was trying to like it couldn't move the value into like the closure and stuff, and like yeah, there was just like a whole bunch of issues with that. So it turns out that in this case the for loop actually just a plain old for works really nicely. So yeah, I just have like a for each loop over this range, and everything works out a lot nicer. So yeah, that's pretty much where things are right now. I'm reasonably satisfied with this solution, honestly. So I guess I'm gonna start trying to move things around, and this is where I think this is where things will start to get a little bit more tricky, I'm sure. So where should we start? I haven't really put any thought into this yet, but I think the best way to begin is probably to create a new module of some sort. I'm not really sure what that module is going to look like right now, but let me think about this. It'll probably be under, it'll actually probably be under this randomizer module still, actually. Maybe I should give it a new file here, yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to do. Right, Rust file. What should we call it? Filler. I think that makes sense, right? Because that's what these are doing. These are, yeah, this is just a filler. I hope that makes sense. Add file to Git. No, not right now. Okay, yeah, I'll deal with the Git stuff later. Filler. Maybe I should call it fillers. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just a module name, honestly. So right, that's for filled locations. This is a filler. We'll just move everything over. Surely, if I copy and paste everything, nothing can possibly go wrong, right? Well, of course I need to actually define a method. So let's do a fun, I don't know, fill locations. And do that, I guess drop that there. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's a lot of errors. So for now, I guess we're just going to return unit because I don't really have an idea of what should go here yet. And yeah, we're just going to take unit or nothing. I don't know. Is it if I have no arguments, is it taking unit or void? No, it can't take void because void, you can't construct void. That's right. That's the whole point of void. You cannot construct void. So if anything, it's taking unit. I think. Whatever. it's not important. I want labeled items. I want all this actually. Give me all this. This is the important stuff. I want all of it. And in fact, I can probably move all of this stuff. This is not going to compile, is it? I should probably do this. I'm pretty sure it's going to want supers for everything, and that's fine. Give the compiler a moment. Yeah, there we go. Everything's kicking in now. I guess I could make a filler struct. I don't really know what kind of information it would hold, though. Is there any point in creating a struct for something that isn't going to hold information? That's what I wonder. Because I feel like if I'm going to bother creating like a struct, I should like it should actually have some information in it, right? Like it should actually have some data. If it doesn't have any data, then to me, like, what's the point? What's the point in actually doing that? I don't know if this is like not idiomatic, but I'm just gonna do this because it feels comfortable. Yeah, I really don't think it's gonna make a big difference whether or not I have a struct and an impl or whatever. It should all work out roughly the same. Okay, so everything got transplanted here pretty nicely. Of course, yeah, this is basically just doing what main was doing, so now I should be able to just call fill locations from main. Do I want to have a new line afterwards? I don't know. I never really understood this. Like, so when you want a new line at the end of the file, when you don't want one. I don't know. I find some programs work nicer when there is a new line, and some programs just don't. So at this point, I just kind of, I found that consistently, it's if you have a new line at the end of your files, pretty much every program will work fine. But some programs don't work fine if you don't have one. So yeah, I don't know. Today I feel like I'm just going off on all sorts of random tangents. I just don't really know why. I guess that's just my mood. Alright, anyway. Let's use... was it? Randomizer... filler... Oh, I need to pub this, don't I? Pub fun fill locations. There we go. Fill locations there. Yeah, that's fine. Seems good to me. Oh yeah, I also another thing I want to mention is that I got rid of the little star before this by doing this decomposition, as they call it, I believe. You add this ampersand here in front of this location, and those are equivalent. But you know, that's okay. How's fill locations going to work? So I think presumably locations or fill locations is actually going to want to own a vector of locations, and that will be our locations, right? I think that makes sense. I think alternatively I could be like passing around iterators and stuff, and that would also work. Not really sure. Should be able to do this, yeah. So now we have like a mutable variable locations in this context, and it should work out exactly the same as it did before. Why did I delete that vector? I want to use it for testing. Keep it around. In fact, use it here. No, don't. What am I doing? I'm copying and pasting things, and I don't want to. Stop doing that. Give me that. Okay, Control V. Not used to this keyboard. If I may be completely honest here. I kind of prefer mechanical keyboards. Mechanical keyboards just, they feel nicer to touch. My fingers end up in the right position when I want to type on a mechanical keyboard, so I can type faster. I don't know, it's mostly just a feel thing, but yeah, I know why people don't like mechanical keyboards. They're loud and clackety, and especially for something like this, I kind of don't really want the clacking in my microphone, because that would kind of suck, wouldn't it? Yeah. That's the wrong module. There we go. Ooh, hello. Cannot borrow. Oh, because I forgot to. Yeah. For some reason right, because I had to undo my deletion, so then I had to change that. So then this wasn't able to work, but now it works again. Okay. So take that. We own it. Owning it is cool. Should we take accessible items as well? I think so, right? Like, we want to know what items are accessible. And I also kind of want to refactor this logic into, like, a assumed filter, I guess, function, and then another loop like this probably for the fast filler. I think that makes the most sense. Yeah. It seems to make sense. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to take this is also mutable. Yeah, okay. We'll just do the same thing. Items accessible. Oh, I completely forgot. Yeah, this labeled item wasn't here last time. I changed the definition here. I remember the last time I created a item type, but item type isn't really a good enum name because it's not just like these variants are not just item types. They contain the item, like they're wrappers for them. So essentially, what I'm trying to do here is it's some variant of the new type pattern, essentially, where everything is a little bit more strongly typed because now we have progression items, and we can make and this way when we're creating our list of items, we'll have them labeled, and we can be sure that we're not mixing up junk items in something that should only have progression items. In fact, I could even add some like asserts to make sure that yeah, we don't get any nice or junk items in the list of stuff. We only get progression items. So yeah, I'll add some debug asserts later probably, just to check for that. My chair is super creaky as usual. Right, I got a little bit sidetracked there, but that's not particularly important. I just want to move this over to main. I don't need this to be mutable, actually, now I think about it. It doesn't need to be mutable in this context because we're not going to mutate this at all. We're just gonna We're gonna pass it somewhere else for someone else to own. It's their problem now. Don't you wish you could do that in real life? Just, you know, give crap to people and they're like, oh, it's your problem now. I mean, I guess some people do that already, don't they? What am I doing? Don't do that. There we go. You okay? No? Unresolved reference labeled item. Because you're not even getting the freaking items. Duh. Get the items. Now we should be able to... Ooh, hello. I need item. So, yeah, moving all those... all these use statements probably wasn't a smart idea, but oh well. Now I know better. I mean, I knew I was gonna be moving stuff around, so that was kind of silly. Gotta be honest. Have to be honest. Also, I don't really know why I'm doing item count. I could just do this like, well, actually, no, I do know, because if I just... Because when I'm going to be popping items accessible, I can't iterate over items accessible while I'm popping it. Like, have you ever tried, I guess, like, changing the size of a collection as you're iterating through it? Like, even in Java, like, it's like, the compiler just, like, throws up and says, ew, gross, you terrible person. So, this seems pretty good. Of course, barring this. I mean, obviously, I don't really care about that. We want to actually return the filled locations, I think. But not yet. We're not done yet. This is the assumed filler. So, assumed filler does stuff. And we need to put it in its own method. Or function, whatever. I'm so used to calling everything methods. Like when you work in an industry that's like completely flooded with object-oriented languages and like everyone's all about OP, like it eventually the terminology just kind of seeps into everything you do. I mean, I guess it's a good thing because that means I never call things the wrong thing when I'm on the job, but then when I'm off the job, I'm just like, yeah. So what this is a whatever. It's a fun. That's what it is. It's a fun. It even says so right there. Fun. Anyway, right. Wait, was it called the assumed filler? I don't know. It's the filler that checks things, I guess. I don't know. Let's call it progression filler because I don't remember the actual name. I think it was assumed filler, but to me that name doesn't really make sense. Why is it assumed? What is it assuming? Oh, I guess it's assuming certain items are accessible. Oh, whatever. Forget it. I gave it a name. It's not the same as the other one. Whatever. It's called being creative. So I'm gonna give it this, obviously, because I wanna push stuff onto this. We're gonna mutably borrow that, of course. Oh, don't do that. Nuh-uh-uh. Never do that. Only villains do that. I went there. I really did. Don't. I was about to put a vector here, but no. You should always just take slices. That's what's idiomatic. You take a reference to a slice. Or wait, no. I think if you just have like a this thing, or like without the mute, that's just called a slice. Pretty sure that's the actual terminology. Copy and paste, or well, cut and paste. So item count no longer exists. Oh, okay. Now I have a bit of a problem. Instead of items accessible, I should call this progression items accessible. Maybe I should just add that in the comment, honestly. Assumed accessible progression items. And I don't need to call an equivalent, I guess. Well, this comment would have belonged better on this. Yeah, this makes better sense. Let's do that. So, item count. It's kind of funny that this isn't being highlighted as being an error. I guess IntelliJ Rust still has some problems to work out there. But yeah, am I gonna just pass in the item count? No, I'm just gonna pass in the items accessible. That makes more sense. And that will be just a vector of labeled items. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Do that, and then do all this other stuff. Cannot borrow immutable... Whoa, what? Oh, because this is not that. Okay, fine. Fine. Can I call that without... I'm getting ideas. I'm getting ideas. Is this okay? Am I allowed to do this? Wow, I can't believe it even tells me this. That's cool. Can I do that without doing this? Because now it's immutable. And I'm passing it into somewhere. Oh no, but this guy wants it mutable anyway. Yeah, no, never mind. That's probably not a good idea. Should the shuffling happen here even? That's another question. Should the shuffling happen here? Yeah, I didn't think about that. Oh, so many decisions. So many decisions to be made. Yeah, this is a lot trickier than I thought it would be. That's okay. I think... Well, okay, what else am I missing? I'm missing locations. Actually, I don't even need to do this. This doesn't make sense. Yeah, what am I doing? I don't even need to mutably borrow this, because I'm just going to... Well, I mean, does it really make much of a difference, though? I don't think it really makes a difference whether I return it or not. But I can just return stuff. I can return a vector of filled locations, why not? What's wrong with that? So instead of filled locations being defined here as this, I can just create a filled locations vector in here, and I can return that. There. Done. Easy. Filled locations. There we go. That wasn't hard. So now we return that guy. One parameter, but two are supplied. Yeah, of course. And that's not even a parameter because it doesn't exist anymore. So now the other thing we need to give it is locations. And locations is defined here. Yeah, we shuffle it here, so that's fine. And that looks pretty good. I'm pretty reasonably satisfied with this. I mean, this is sort of a mouthful. Like, it's kind of like bleeding out over there. I mean, we can fix that pretty easily just by, you know, changing the spacing around here. There, that looks a bit better. Yeah, I'm satisfied with this. If it works. If it works, yeah, this is great. This is fine. Okay. I guess this comment, I don't know, I feel like that comment doesn't belong there. What I should be doing, maybe I don't like the name items accessible, you know? Maybe it should just be called progression items. Or prog items. I think that makes more sense. Shuffle the progression items, pass the progression items through here. These are the progression items that we are... Yeah. Because, I mean, that is... that we are only going to use this for progression items. Well, I guess unless we're... Well, even so, like... Sorry, I just, like, had, like, a train wreck of thoughts. It was like... The caboose went crashing into the rest of my train of thoughts. Trains? Train? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I could have dungeons. Or some kind of dungeon equivalent. We should have, like, keys and key logic and whatnot. And I guess technically those aren't considered, like, progression items, but to me they kind of are. I mean, you do have to get them to progress the game. Otherwise you can't go anywhere. Right? You can't go any further in the dungeon, so I think progression items isn't really a misnomer. At least not right now. I might not even do, like, the traditional dungeons key logic type thing anyway. Although it does add a pretty interesting little, like, I don't know, it adds an interesting element of, routing. Anyway. This looks fine. Progression items are going to be passed in from main. Main is just, yep, it's giving a bunch of progression items. Let's call that progression items. Or prog items, whatever. Now I don't have to really comment it. I'm pretty sure that there's that prog, at least in this context, prog is pretty unambiguous, in my opinion. I know some people would get mad at me for naming a variable in that way, and I'm just like, well, it's less verbose. So fill locations. Give it both. Locations, prog items. Yeah. And this should just do exactly what it was doing before. So just be a vector of filled location. And yeah, in theory, if I run this, there won't be any errors. It'll just work. Yeah, it just works. See? Look. I honestly was not expecting that to actually work. I was kind of expecting it to give me at least one error, but no, that refactor was pretty successful. I'm kind of surprised. I guess, yeah, well, I guess the combination of IntelliJ Rust being a lot better than it used to be, and just my general familiarity with Rust kind of helped with that. Also, it wasn't really a big refactor, so I guess I shouldn't really boast too much about that. That's just really silly. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Now we need to actually add the rest of the items. So we're gonna have the nice items, I guess, and the junk items. That's the word I was looking for. I don't even know if there's a point in having all these different like in having an enum of items, you know? Because like when am I gonna treat items all like the same like that? I don't really know when I would. Like in a filled location, what does a filled location take? Well, I mean, I can even change the definition of a filled location. That shouldn't be a reason. I mean, it's a labeled item right now. I could have just made it just an item. I think I'll leave it as is, though. I kind of like what I've got here. I could break this out into separate structs and then just have them wrap an item. And this guy just takes an item instead of a labeled item, but I don't know. I feel like at some point I may want to actually do something where I get to treat all items, all labeled items as, like, you know, labeled items. Polymorphism. So, since this works, I think what I'm going to do next is... Right, this is the progression filler. That's what I called it. So now we're gonna have the quote-unquote fast filler, right? So fast filler is just going to take the rest of the items, the nice ones and the not so nice ones. See, here's a good use case for just taking labeled items. We'll just take the rest of the items. And then we're going to just put them into places. So I guess the one thing that is really important here is that the number of locations remaining is the same as the number of progression items. Because if they are not the same, we're in trouble. Also, I didn't think about this, did I? No, I don't think I did. I kind of just went ahead and assumed that we would... Ooh, oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh no. I see what I've done wrong. I've made a terrible mistake. This is not going to work. This isn't going to work. The reason being is that I'm dropping locations, and then I'm permanently dropping those locations. So if the hammer unlocks like 3 locations, and I want to put the hammer somewhere, I'm going to erase 3 locations. But those locations are the ones that are going to go into here. So suddenly, even though the hammer only took up 1 location, I dropped, like, I don't know, 4 locations. I need to retain... I need to know which locations have been filled and filter those out before I do the fast filler. And with this current algorithm, I don't have that. So okay, there's an interesting little problem. How am I going to solve that? Well, what I probably should do is I should probably keep a second list of locations and only drop the locations that have been filled from that one. I think that would make sense, right? So I could do something like this, but maybe I pass this closure in instead of just calling like location.isAccessible. That would make more sense. So drop locations could be a little bit more generic, and then it'll still do roughly the same thing. That does mean I need to have a copy of the locations vector. I'm not sure how feasible that is. I think I could clone it, because it does, I think location does implement copy clone, right? So I think that this is clonable, and then I could use that in my fast filler. I am sorely tempted to just do that. And then instead of returning this vector of filled locations, I could return both the filled locations and the remaining locations in like a tuple. That doesn't seem like a terrible idea. Yeah. Going to go with that for now. Seems like the right decision to make. Yeah, I definitely feel like I want to make that call. Okay, so if we're gonna do things that way, we need to change our signature for one thing. So this is gonna be a tuple. Instead of one vector, we get two vectors. I'm the count now for some reason. And yeah, this seems right. Seems roughly right. I could formalize this as an actual struct or tuple struct. I don't think that would be the worst thing to do, honestly. Sure, let's do it. Fill or like progression filler result. It'll take, yeah, it'll just be this. Literally just be this. Done. I don't know, I just don't feel like returning raw tuples like that. It's always, yeah, I always like wrapping things up in more formal structs or tuple structs. That's why I like tuple structs. Like, that's why they're there, you know? Nicer syntax than your regular old structs. Okay. So now we have to adjust our algorithm. The first thing I'm going to do, before anything else, is copy those floppies. No. Clone those phones. No. We're gonna clone the locations. This will be what, remaining stop locations. Yeah, remaining locations. That's how we're gonna do this. We're just gonna clone the locations and create this. We're also gonna want it to be mutable, because every time we push, we're also gonna have to drop the filled location, the chosen location. Yeah. So drop locations, just that guy. Right? I think so. Seems kind of slow to have to do it this way. Like, iterate over the entire thing just to, like, filter out that one entry. Maybe this isn't the way I want to do it. Maybe I don't want to reuse that. This is probably better for dropping multiple locations. If I want to just drop one location, there's probably a better way to do it. Is there, though? Is there really? I'm trying to think. Is there... Well, I could take while, but if I take while, yeah. You know what? It doesn't really matter that much, I guess. I could just do the filter. I'm sorely tempted to just go with the filter. Seems a little bit nicer. So how do I take a closure as an argument, though? I don't know. How do I do that? Oh, beautiful. Auto completed. as input parameters. Okay. Oh geez. In order of decreasing restriction. Okay. Got it. How do I take one as an argument now? Oh, I can do this little where clause thing. Yep, that works. That does work. Sure. Sounds good to me. Let's do that. So we have an F, so we have to take an F. I think I want a fun. Don't know why, but I feel like fun is what I want. Oops. Bleh. Funk. Fun. And I want to pass F here. I want to put my where clause here. Where F implements fun. But it takes a reference to a location, I think, is what I want to put there. Is that right? Does that make sense? I have no idea. Captures by reference. Oh dear. I'm not really sure. But this is a fun once. To do, try changing this to fun or fun mood. Okay. Yeah, sure. I can try that later, another day, when I feel like it. I just don't right now. Alright, this is a bool. It's a bool. Does that work? I think so, yeah. Sure looks like it works. Move that to, oh, never mind. I was gonna move that to the next line, but maybe not. Well, I don't know. I just don't like how long this line is. It's okay. It's too long. It's too damn long. Oh boy, how is this gonna work? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pass this in here. And let's just hope that that works. Oh yeah, and this is another argument, so that should go in another line as well. It doesn't seem to like that. Because I haven't... Right, I changed the signature here and I didn't update it. Okay, we're gonna do a drop locations. Give it our remaining locations. I want to do this. I want to do that. Now I'm starting to think that this is probably not the right approach. Can I just... Is there a remove item vector rust? I know there's like a remove at... Did that ever get stabilized though? Or remove item? I don't think this ever got stabilized. I don't think it's ever going to get stabilized. I'm not actually sure. I think the only experimental API recently added. Has this been merged? Is this... Nope, this is open. Never mind. Don't do that. Don't use this. It's not gonna work. I could still use remove if I knew the index, but I don't know the index, so let's just say forget about it and just filter. I mean, I already changed this. We're filtering. I have decided. We're filtering. I'm not so decided anymore. I actually... Wait a minute. I don't need to do this anymore. Right? Because items is here. Items. I don't want to consume items, but... Items was prog items. Yeah, that was this guy, and I borrowed it. So I can just borrow prog items right here. And then I can get rid of this guy. Right? Yeah, yep. Seems good to me. Probably not gonna work. Get rid of this. This guy doesn't belong here. And I think we might just be good. Yeah. It's totally fine. Location. Yeah, we're filtering locations. You know, I'm not even sure why I did this, because... Like, why do I even have this here? All it's doing is filtering. Why do I even have a separate function for it? I don't know. Oh well. Yeah, you know, actually, on second thought, I don't really need an entirely new function just to do this. That seems kind of silly. I could just do a into iter here dot filter, take that thing, and then voila, right? We're done. I just need to do the collect. Pretty much. Yeah, that just works. Why wouldn't I just do it that way? I can inline this. In fact, I can even make it look a little bit prettier by doing a bit of this. Do a bit of that. How's that? Yeah, look at that. I can do pretty much the exact same thing here. I don't even need a second function. We just want to make sure that it doesn't, that the location isn't the one that we chose. So it isn't chosen location. So that means I need to implement some kind of partial equality. I mean, that's fine. Whatever. This works. Look at that. Look at that. It's fine. Now we can return a progression filler result with the filled locations and the remaining locations. Done. That seems pretty good to me. What's this? Expected. Oh yes, right, because we we're not expecting the right result. That's fine. We'll just do that. There. Now I can get rid of drop locations, because that's just utterly useless. I think we are good. I think we're good. Error. It's a good point. You can't really do that, can you? How about this? Why don't you do that? Binary operation cannot be applied. Oh yes. Partial equality required. You're absolutely right. What was I thinking? Do that. Make yourself useful. Yep. And that seems to do it. That's very nice. I'm pretty pleased with this progress. So now the fun part begins. By fun, I mean fun, fast filler. Which is going to do basically the same thing as progression filler, but, you know, not do any kind of validation, so. I could probably even, like, refactor these two into, like, one method. I bet I could. Actually, no, I wouldn't want to, because this guy, I'm not going to have any remaining locations anymore. That's just not going to exist. This is the only place where that actually matters, because it's going to, yeah, it's required, essentially. I could, in theory, just instead of hard coding the remaining locations to be here and then always like cloning the locations, I could make it so you have to pass in the remaining locations. I'm not really sure how that might change the semantics of things, though. I don't know. I'm not really sure I like that idea. I'm going to keep things the way they are, just for now. Yeah. I was thinking maybe that would make things easier to refactor later, but I mean, I haven't even written the fast filler yet, so let's not think about that. So, fast filler, you will take, well, you're just going to take items, actually, not even progression items, just items. Items of various varieties. You're going to return a vector of filled locations, so just a vector of filled locations. What am I doing? They're very different things. And I think all I have to really do at this point, I mean, I could even just own this thing, so I mean, I will own it, right? Items, progression items. Do I care to separate the nice items from the other the junk items? I don't think I do. Other items. Yeah, I honestly don't think I'm gonna care at all. So other items is gonna be a vector of labeled items. And what is other items going to do / look like? What am I gonna do with it? So filled locations stores the filled locations as the first argument. The second argument is going to be the remaining locations. What I should do is take the remaining locations and pass it into fast filler. That's what I need to do. Location. So I have my items, and I'm gonna probably just iterate over each of them and just put them in locations. I don't really see what else. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything else here that really matters. Oh, that's right. Other items. If you have nice items and junk items, you want to shuffle and seed the nice items first before the junk items. So I might actually want to separate them. I don't know. It doesn't really make a big difference. I'm gonna shuffle my other items anyway, just because I know I want to. And that also means that I have to mark this as mutable, of course. Then I'm going to pass that here, which I do. I don't think I even need it to be mutable at this point, though, because I'm probably just gonna iterate over it. I guess I want it to be mutable if I want to pop. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I'm just taking items and putting them into locations. I could even do like a map. Can you imagine? Can you believe that I would like do such a thing? I mean, I would. Into iter dot map, where it takes a, I don't know, item, and it turns that item into a filled location. Oh, well, I can't exactly do that. I have to zip my items and locations first. Is there a zip function in Rust? Surely there's a zip function, right? No? Iterator, zip, zop, skibbity bop. Probably shouldn't say things like that now that he's going to, or you know, all those accusations or whatever. I don't know. Seems like it's probably in poor taste in this day and age. Weird how things change like that. But yeah, we do have a zip. We can zip. I can zip. So I will zip. Oh, I'm gonna zip alright. No. Zip around. Like a zipper. Something that can be into iterated? Well, locations here can certainly be into iterated, I think. Oh dear. What's going on? Expected. Yeah, I'm not done yet. I didn't say I was done yet. Did I say I was done? I'm not done. Ooh, should I? Can I pattern match here? I'm not sure. I remember you had to use like a special keyword in Scala to do something like this. If you can do that, if you can do this, I would be kind of surprised, honestly. Oh, yes, we gotta collect. Seems like it's actually okay with this. I'm a little bit surprised. That's kinda nice. If it works, I have no idea. But if this works, that would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that would be pretty freaking rad. Now, the question is, can I own this? And I do believe that I can, because I am taking ownership of other items. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think I want to test fast filler first before I get too ahead of myself here. Just on its own. We'll make it public for now. I should just write unit tests for this stuff since I'm here, and that's kind of where you would write unit tests. But I'm not doing that. I'm going against the grain. I'm doing bad things. I'm a bad person. Look at me. Look at me. Trying to do silly things. Fast filler. There we go. So now the fast filler is going to take my progression items, and it's going to take my locations, and then it's going to zip them all up, and then it's going to print stuff, I think. Yeah. It's going to do essentially what we were already doing up here. Let's see if it does what I expect it to do. And this should be let filled locations equal that. Yeah, let's see if this even compiles. Nope, does not. Oh, because right, this is just a vector. It is not at all like the other one. I'm kind of surprised that that just kind of works the way that it does. It does. It certainly does. Okay. So yeah, if they, assuming that everything is pre-shuffled, which it should be when we do the shuffling here, if we just zip the contents, then that's literally our fast filler. There is nothing else to it. So yeah, that's I think if, well, I'm gonna put it all together after this, maybe in the next part. I don't know, but yeah, like with all this stuff structured the way that is, I think we essentially have a very basic item randomizer. How exciting!